Lori here. I'm back to do my March TBR. I always love setting a new TBR experience, but I will say that I definitely was not as successful in my TBR plans as I planned. So I do have a penalty roll for my personal TBR game. Just sort of looking at the numbers, which sometimes it works to my advantage. I was able to complete like my personal, like my yearly TBR, which is really exciting. My Fabelin TBR, I barely did it. I like had to switch a couple of challenges. I also realized I've been doing Fabelin wrong, so that will hopefully get a little bit. But my TBR game that I had, I wanted to read 8 books, and I only read one, two, three, four. So was not as successful as I wanted. So I am gonna give myself a punishment. I just if it's like not if it's getting rid of books, I got rid of so many books this like since the start of the year that I might just pick another one. But I don't even remember. So let's see what the punishment is. There's one reward, one punishment. I won't be getting the reward, obviously. Extra. Oh no, I did not get an extra Audible credit this month. Um, roll 2 dice. So when I do it, I have to roll 2 dice. Okay, that I can do. So that will make this TBR a little bit more crazier, which is fine. I'm happy with that. So I just have to roll 2 dice instead of rolling one, which is not that big of a deal. But I also think just because it was like a shorter month and I really wanted to read romance, it had a lot to do with it. But I was able to complete my Fabelin TBR, which I was happy about. So yeah, the first thing we're gonna just talk about is my yearly TBR. I'm gonna talk about the e-arcs I'm gonna focus on and the physical books that sort of connect with that. So let's do that first. Adult book I'm going to focus on is a memory called Empire by Arkney Martine. This is a science fiction mystery thriller, which I'm really excited for. Reagan has really, really liked it, and it's also like defying the genre, which will work for one of my Fabelin prompts. But I'm really excited for this one, and it seems like it will be a fun read. So hopefully I get to pick that one up soon, definitely this month. And then the sequel I'm going to pick up. I'm actually reading quite a bunch of sequels, but I really do want to get to When the Night Breaks by Janelle Angelis. This is the sequel to Where Dreams Descend. I really, really liked Where Dreams Descend. I love this cover that we got from Owl Crate. So these are going to be the 2 physical books on that. And then the audiobook, the nonfiction book I'm going to focus on is called Quiet. And here's a photo of that. Started this book in February, but then I just got a little bit distracted because I picked up Crescent City as a physical book and I just got a little bit distracted. But I am fascinated by this because I think before I would have read this book, I wouldn't have classified myself as an introvert. But after reading like the first couple of chapters, I'm like, I'm definitely an introvert. So just again, just something to like have something to consider, and just again, I like educating myself and just like learning about new things. I really miss going to school, so just finding ways to like get a little bit more nonfiction in my week and my day is just fun. And this was a rec from Super Space Chick a couple of years ago that I just never got around to. So that'll be my nonfiction book for the month. I might pick up a second one later in the month. We will see, but that's the plan. And then I have a bunch of e-arcs. I'm trying to get my NetScally score up a little bit higher. So there are a couple that I don't have like physical books for. One I'm on a blog tour for, and it's Jordy. Here, I'll put the photo here. Into middle grade March. I do have quite a few middle grade books, but this one's I'm on a blog tour for. I'm on it at the end of March. I'm going to probably read it the first week of the month so I can get my blog tours out of the way. I also have another blog tour, but I haven't got the book for that one. It's called Sense and Sensibility. And that one will be later in the month probably because I don't have the e-arc of it yet. But this one is like an alien type story. I'm sure it will be super cute, and I'm really excited for this one. The next book I think is technically young adult, but all of the Rick Riordan presents in my head always come across as YA or come across as middle grade, but this one I think is actually young adult. But it's by James Holder. It's called Blade and Dagger. So here's a photo of that. Looked at the summary of this one. I got approved for this one like late last month, but it sounds really big, great. So, a best-selling author Rick Riordan presents Dan Jose's Older's music and magic-filled YA urban fantasy about 2 teens who discover each other and their powers during a political battle within a unique diaspora community. That sounds awesome. I'm really excited for this one. But yeah, I think this comes out, I think like later. I don't even know when it comes out. When does this book come out? This book comes out May 3rd, so I have a little bit of time to read it, but I do want to read it now that I have an access to the copy and I don't forget about it. And then I'm going to show you guys a couple of the physical books that I also have on my NetGalley TBR that I've just like picked up and they've been just hanging around, so we'll talk about those next. Series, and I have quite a few on my subsequent TBRs that will work with this, but The Prison Healer by Lynette Nomi is one that I have had for so long. My friend gifted me this copy for I think for Christmas, I think. This is the former Fairy Loot edition, and it just sounds great. The back is "Don't let her die, we are coming." Yeah, I'm excited. Here's the only person you can trust is yourself. And she's working at a notorious death prison. It sounds great. So I'm really excited for this one and hope that I really, really liked it. She's also an Australian author. Another one that I picked up from Owl Crate is the Ivory Key, which I also have an e-arc of. So hopefully I will get around to this one. For Sale of a Country in Ruins, One Quest to Save Them All. I love books about families. And this is one I'm embarrassed that I've not read yet. But In Every Generation by Kendare Blake is the companion book set in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer world. Only this book follows Willow's daughter. So these are the physical books that I would like to tackle off of my TBR. But also I do have a NetGalley credit. So if I can get my score up a little bit higher, I may get approved for some more books as the year goes on. But these are ones that I'm very excited for, and hopefully I will get around to reading them soon. For Margaret's Game, the Fablin TBR, I have been doing it pretty much wrong the entire time I've been playing. So the way this game works, if you haven't watched any of her videos or just are interested, is like you basically make a character, and every single month you have 3 prompts you have to complete. So for me, my 3 prompts I have to complete every single month is I need to read a sequel, I need to read a fantasy book, and I need to read a book that is at least 300 pages. So all of those things can work for one book. So for the 2 books that are going to work for that, this has nothing to do with quests, I'm going to read Hollowpox for the book that's over 300 pages and the book that is a fantasy, and it's also middle grade March, which I'm really excited for. I actually did start this, but I'm probably going to have to restart it. And then the sequel I'm going to read for that as well is When the Night Breaks by Janella Angela. So these are going to be those 2 books that are just going to start off my TBR. And they also might work for some prompts, like as I've been doing it wrong. So I have to read 5 prompts every single month. So the one book that will work is I got a prompt where I have to read an animal on the cover, which does work for Hollowpox. So this one will count for one of those. And then another book as I need to read is a book on my physical TBR, which all of these are, but I'm just going to do When the Night Breaks because it will keep the game pretty much more concise. And then I also needed to read a friend recommended book, and I'm going to choose Love Boat Taipei that my friend Jen just chose for me. And then the book I talked about in my previous video or my previous clip was I'm going to read A Memory Called Empire, which has been said that it breaks sort of the genre. So I'm really excited for this one. And then the 2 other prompts that I am going to focus on is I have to have somebody choose, like, I have to give someone like 3 like sentences and they're going to tell me the book to read. It has not worked in February at all, so hopefully it works then. And I think that that's it. So, and then Animal on Cover, read Hollowpox, Friend Rack, Love Boat, breaks genre, and a physical book of my TBR. So yeah, so all of those books will be on my TBR. That's going to be my Fablin TBR. I was able to complete it, but I think I'm just going to have to I think that's how you play it. I hope I'm right. But this is the one that my friend Jen chose me. So now we're going to talk about the Magical Readathon, which is hosted by Book Roast. And again, it's just a lot. Again, I like to be organized. This is how I love to keep myself organized. So it may seem like a lot, but again, I like doing all the reading challenges. They're really, really fun. Video about her explaining it, you can go watch her video. She does a very, very good job. But I know that how I'm playing this game, my character, I need to read a book in a series. So I chose Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, and I also need to read like a first book in a series and another book in a series. So I'm going to read When the Night Breaks by Janelle Angelis, just to keep it simple. These are on my previous TBRs, so hopefully, or any other aspects of the game, so hopefully they will get read. And now we are going to do my TBR jar, which means I have to roll 2 d6s, and let's see how many prompts I'm pulling. Roll a 6-sided dice, but I'm going to roll 2 and just see what the numbers do. I don't have my physical dice. I can't find them right now, so I'm just going to do it virtually, and I'll tell you guys the right number. Okay, I only have to pick 6 prompts. This is not bad. It could have been a lot worse. So let me go pull my first prompt, and then we'll chat about it. I haven't updated the prompts, so if I get any prompts from like the Avengers reading challenge, I will just do the newest boards. Ooh, do a book from your top reads of the year list 2022. I have to go see what is still on that list, so I will report back. So the only book still left on that little list is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Langton. I am really excited for this one. It says an enthralling debut fantasy inspired by the legend of Chinese the Moon Goddess, in which a young woman's quest to free her mother sets her on a dangerous path and pits her against the most powerful immortal in the realm. So I don't know. This might have to do with death mythology, which means I may be able to like use this for one of my Avengers reading prompts. But this cover is so pretty. So I really hope that I like it and I get around to it. This means I will be reading 2 adult fantasy books this month, which does make me a little bit nervous, but they're also very, very different. So hopefully I will like both of them. So this will be the first book that I am going to add to my TBR. It's actually good because I really neglected those lists and I should not. So the next prompt is, read a book by a BIPOC author, which means I can do, I will do Love Boat Taipei for this because it's already on my TBR. And that's a lot of books to choose, but it's not on this TBR, so I will count that. Next prompt. Ooh, do one of your Avengers reading prompts. So, let me see. I'm going to do one of the newer boards that just came out. A manipulative character for Agatha. I think I'm going to put In My Hands I Hold a Knife. That is a book I just got from my library. I think I'm going to add that because I literally just got it. So, and it's a really, really short hold. So I think I might add that to the March TBR. And if I finish it a little bit early, I'll probably start it tomorrow. That will be fine. So yeah, that's the book I'm going to put on this TBR. In My Hands I Hold a Knife. Because it definitely will probably have a good twist as well, and I think there's also an antagonist point of view in there as well, so I think that would work. And Frenemies, I think that would actually be a good book for that board, so I'm going to put In My Hands I Hold a Knife. Here's a photo. A lot of good things about this book, especially from Riley Marie, and it basically follows these 4 to 5 friends after they return back for their college reunion after some drama occurred in their last couple of years of college, and I think there's a murder mystery connected to it. Riley Marie really, really liked it, and I am really excited to get into it, and I was so happy that my hold came off early. I thought I was going to have to wait for a very, very long time, but I did not, so that's really, really exciting. And then I have to choose 3 more prompts, so let's see what gets chosen. Ooh, a book from my Elsa board. Let me see. This is one of the few. I actually already did that one. I think I did Elsa. Did I do Elsa? Oh, a book that has snow or ice on the cover. I have a good option. Let me go find it. But it's Finding Her Edge by Jennifer Buckley, and this has to do with ice dancing. And I think that just after the dramatic experience of watching figure skating, I need another book to connect me back to that. I really did like her Break the Fall book, so this one sounds perfect. It's also a little bit on the shorter side, and considering I have quite a few longer books and quite a few adult fantasy, I think this will be a nice break. And we are still in the middle of stormy and winter season, so hopefully I like this one as well, and that is the next book I will add to my TBR. The next book prompt I'm picking is... Okay, and I'm going to pick a different board for Avengers because I did get one for Agatha, so I'm probably going to pick one from Ultron. Read a book that is compared to a book that you love. Alright, let me go see, because I have a couple of options I can probably choose for this. Alright, let me go see what would work. This is that board, because I haven't done any of them yet, but what I decided to do is pick the prompt, a book that's collected dust on your bookshelf, and I just picked one of the arcs I got from ALA back before the world shut down. So I'm going to pick up The Winter Duke by Claire Elizabeth Bartlett. And this has been on my TBR for a very, very long time. It's also on my winter TBR, and we're getting out of winter season, so I would like to tackle this as well. But it says part Sleeping Beauty, part Anastasia, with a thrilling political mystery. The Winter Duke is a spellbinding story about choosing what's right in the face of danger. Hopefully it might work for some of the other prompts on that board as well, but I think this is also a really, really great winter book, especially because we're heading into spring. So it'll be a nice carryover book. And then the last prompt I'm going to choose is a book by the year focus author. Actually, I can actually do this because I actually haven't read any books by this author yet this year. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to read one of the books by Jennifer Ashley. It's an audiobook, and I'll put the picture here because it's the first one. The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie by Laura Ashley. Peace Love Books really has loved this series, and I have wanted to pick it up, and it was on one of those lists. So I figure I will add it to here. Also, audiobook is going to be a little bit all over the place this month, but I do want to focus on getting back into the Way of Kings series and really re-listening to that book and see if I like listening to it a little bit easier. I did listen to about 100, 200 pages last year, and I just got a little bit distracted and sort of fell off the game. I would also like to listen to the fourth Veronica Speedwell book, my Quiet audiobook, and maybe a couple of other things. But again, I'm just sort of not, with what I listen to, I'm not going to put as pressure on myself. I'm going to let that be a little more freewheeling, and hopefully I will just have an enjoyable reading month. So let me know in the comments if you like how I do my TBR, if you do my TBR any way that I do. Again, I like to have everything, all my ducks in a row. It just keeps me nice and organized. Sometimes that makes people incredibly stressed out, but for me, it's actually really, really relaxing because I have a plan and I know what I'm doing. But I hope you guys like this video, and I'll talk to you guys for my next video. Bye, friends.